Morning, Naas Botha again, and on the other hand, Deon. Morning, Deon.
Morning, Naas.
Firstly, well done on the under-19s of the Bulls. I know it's a little bit more local, but you've got your first medal. That's not bad, eh?
Yeah, no, it was an amazing feeling and well-deserved victory for them being unbeaten all season. So, yeah, at the end of the day, the hard work paid off, and I'm very happy for the little ones.
Okay, so to receive your first medal, actually not bad, man.
No, especially not at Loftus, so it was even sweeter, and beating Western Province, so even more sweeter.
Oh, good. But we must also say Western Province under 21, they won the under 21.
The Sharks,
The Shark.
yeah, they beat the Lions 69-31.
Oh, so Western Province not in the under 21 final?
No, the Lions beat them away last weekend.
Okay.
And I know halftime yesterday was 28-24
Yeah.
or 28-26, and then the Sharks ran away with him.
Oh, great win for the Sharks.
Yeah.
Is that the only team that can play in Durban?
Well, the juniors are looking good, so hopefully they can.
No, they are looking good.
Yeah.
Okay, because the seniors are a little bit of trouble.
They are struggling at the moment, so hopefully there's a couple of young guys that can come through and maybe just assist them there.
Okay, good. But let's get to the URC, okay? Next week, in 2 weeks' time, we've got some nice international rugby to start talking about again. But okay, let's talk about that game, okay? Sharks 26, Ulster 34. That must be, there's marked all the guys, but there's two surprises. That is a surprise. I didn't expect that one.
Yeah, I think also gained a lot of confidence last weekend when they beat the Bulls convincingly. But you don't expect the Sharks, with the quality players that they have, to lose at home against the Ulster team. And yeah, they just had a bad start once again. They were 17 points down. Now you have to play catch-up rugby again. Masuku missing his first 3 kicks, just not gaining any momentum. And yeah, at the end of the day, they had to pay for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, we've talked about it. And it's not like Eben didn't play. It's not like Sia didn't play. They were all there. All the Springboks that I think they could put into that side. They did. But still, you just expect the Sharks to be with the Stormers and the Bulls actually at the top the whole time. I know it's not possible, but you do expect that. Just a question, and I know this is a little thumbsuck, so we can't go, too much into it. Do you think there is a problem in Durban? Because it can't be the coach. You can't tell me suddenly out of the blue, John Plafferty is a bad coach. I will not accept that. I know John quite well. I think he's a great coach. Don't you think somewhere along the line, players also need to take a little bit more responsibility?
Yeah, and I think I actually had a discussion about this on Friday as well. When your teams, when they do poorly, then it's always the coach's problem or the coach's fault, or the coach needs to be fired. But where is the players going to take responsibility? Now, the thing is, yeah, they've got 13 Springboks in that team. So you'd expecting to kind of win these games and pull through. Even if they're playing badly, they are good enough to win those kind of games. But yeah, you don't know if the guy, why are they performing better with a box? Because that's the other question. Because it's the same player, but he's not delivering at provincial or club level. And I don't know what the problem seems to be, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Okay, but hopefully that things will change. I thought yesterday was going to be the turning point. Let's put it that way. But okay, that didn't happen. Friday night, Bulls 28, Connacht 27. It's a little bit. It's a away win. Let's put it that way. Okay, that is vital. By one, we've won World Cup by 1 point, so nobody really cares about the 1 point. But I think after Ulster, it was a great win for the Bulls, because sometimes, you think you're on the right track, you play well, then suddenly you lose a game, and then what do you create? You create suddenly doubt with your own player. And secondly, everybody else suddenly believe they can beat you. So do you agree? That was at the end a great win. I know there was a little bit controversial conversion that was retaken, but still at the end, it's a good win.
No, for sure, especially after last week. And, like you say, controversial end, but two bad kicks from the fly off there. It was a windy night, and we know the wind and the road plays have all in Connacht.
Yeah.
But, Sebastian de Klerk pulled the bit standing out, especially after 11 changes again that Ackerman made. To go and win away is a great win for the Bulls.
Okay. And then, okay, Lions against Scarlets, not really a surprise because there is something special in the Lions squad. It's maybe not showing on the scoreboard, but it's a team that if they get going, they're a very difficult team to manage as an opposition. Okay. And I wasn't surprised to see, and it's quite a big win, 29-18. You can't really find any fault with the Lions' performance. I know it's at home, but still, it was a must win for the Lions.
Yeah, for sure. They played, the first half wasn't great rugby from both sides. And I think Ivan probably said some hard words at halftime because they came out a better team. And at the end of the day, winning convincingly. But once again, those are the games that you should win.
Yeah.
And I think the Sharks have to feel the same way about Ulster yesterday. Because now I think the Scarlets is going to Durban next weekend. So that would be a must win for the Sharks again. And Ulster will be a much tougher test for the Lions.
Yeah. See, one thing you mentioned, and that's a thing that I think sometimes we miss a little bit, is that you said not a great first half. Now, I always put it down to why. Okay. Easy. It's two teams, not really too successful. So where's your level of confidence? Then after 40 minutes, it always looks like it's a different second half. But I think a lot in sports got to do with confidence. And the Lions sort of came back, and I think they expected maybe a little bit better results overseas. But I'm not surprised it was a little bit of a struggle first half. But it's still a great win.
But just to come in there, the kicking, once again, the kicking was terrible in that game. I think at one stage, both teams missed 5 kicks in a row. And if you're playing at URC level, you can't afford to miss kicks with inside the 15 meter. That's unacceptable. And with the Sharks game as well, their first 3 kicks, we saw on Friday night, Connacht Sky struggling. So kicking in general this whole weekend wasn't great for many of those teams. And you also gain confidence when the scoreboard keeps sticky.
Yeah.
And the Lions shot themselves in the foot there for a while. Otherwise, that win would have been much more comfortable.
Okay, another good one for the Stormers. As we mentioned, that's a little bit, for me, the informed team in South Africa at the moment.
They are bubbling.
Confidence level quite high. But I must say, I didn't see the game because I had something else to do. But I must say, it looks like Sasha is taking fly off play to a different level now.
And it just shows you the difference. If you've got a team that's running the show,
Yeah.
and he's done it since he's come back from international duty, scoring 2 tries again, running the show, giving an absolutely great pass to Geland.
Yeah,
And that is just hand speed and having the skill to execute it. So, yeah, but definitely Stormers are the informed team. And I think they're coming home now, but 5 in a row is not a bad start.
not a bad start at all. Okay, then Glasgow over Ospreys, no surprise there, 42-17. The other game we have to talk about, Munster beating Leinster. Now, we know Leinster didn't send their best side to South Africa. I think they start paying a price for that because when can you really take advantage in any season is in the beginning of the season, because teams figuring out better combinations, who's in form, who's not in form, because you can't find that in a practice game. I don't care what people say. You can never emulate a game scenario to a practice game. Okay. And Leicester now lost 3.
And that was a home game as well. Although they played at Croke Park, at some stage it sounded like they're playing in Munster because they had so many supporters there. But yeah, total dominance from Munster. I think that was the team of the weekend for me. They played immense rugby. It was really nice to watch. And I think some of the teams are starting to figure Leinster out of it. So, and Jack Crowley dominated Pendergrass.
So do you, okay, make a call. Is Pendergrass going to make it?
I don't think he's the best. He's still very young, so there's still a lot of time for him to get better. But yesterday, Crowley, I think, cemented his place for the end of the year to play at 10-4. Because, yeah, Pendergrass just looked out of sorts. It just feels he doesn't have time. He's a bit slow. And, yeah, but if you're going backwards, it's also always difficult for Flav to run the show. Yeah. And I think that's what Munster did so well. But put so much pressure on Leinster, tackled them back, had more fight. So I think that was a statement win for me. And that's a kind of game that can change your whole season because it just gives you a bit more confidence and belief to go and beat the other teams, especially playing away. So, yeah, hats off to Munster yesterday.
Okay, but interesting. I would put it in a different way. I think it was slightly a little bit of a turning point for Munster because for the last 2 years they've been up and down. A number of years ago they were like very dominant in any competition. Then they struggled. But do you agree or do you disagree? Do you think that's a little bit of a turning point for Munster? They may be a lot better this year than the last couple of years?
No, definitely. I think after that final that they won in Cape Town, they haven't been the same. And but yesterday they definitely showed glimpses that this is a team that can really cause some trouble this year. And I think they've also settled with a bit of more combinations now over the last 2 years with Crowley playing well at 10. Their new centers are playing very good. But yeah, total dominance yesterday.
Okay, Edinburgh over Benetton, 43-0. In my days when I played in Italy, and I played there for 6 years, it was like at home you don't lose, away from home you do lose. Okay, is that what we sort of trying to pick out of this result?
Especially after last weekend, I think they had a great victory at home last weekend. And to come out a week later and not scoring 1 point is disappointing. But I think it's like you say, at home the Italian and the Wales teams are going to be more difficult. Yeah. But away they don't have good records.
Okay, so I know that feeling because, when I arrived in Rivigo, we actually had more Tito Lupini and myself. We actually proved to them you can win away from home. Because in those days, they just didn't believe you can win away from them. Okay, then last one, Cardiff against Dragons, not really a surprise, 24-17. I still expected a little bit more from the Dragons, but looks like they just going to struggle a little bit this season.
No, I think it's going to be a long season for them. But yeah, like the Sharks coming back to them, that's also a game that they should have won. Yeah. But like we just mentioned, they played at home, so they are a little bit more dangerous at home. Yeah. But yeah, I don't expect anything from the Dragons.
Okay, so that's the URC. Then I got a nice email from Freek Burger, okay, ex-referee, also in the isolation era. So in those days, the Currie Cup, just for people that don't know, the Currie Cup was the competition in South Africa. Okay, and he gave me a couple of pointers, and I think we're going to discuss those because it's quite important. Just to give you a little bit background on Friedberger, he did 18 internationals. So it's not like he did no internationals. 18 in those days It's like about like 100 these days. 184 Curry Cup gays. No, that's all he actually could do. So we can't blame him for that. Same as my career, you can't blame me for playing the Curry Cup because it's all we had. And here and there at some international games. 5 Curry Cup finals. So that means at least for 5 years in his career, he was regarded the best referee in South Africa. Okay. And then for in 4 World Cups, he was a sighting commissioner. So at least he knows what he's talking about. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the points. He mentioned there's too many players lately questioning the decision by the referees. And that's one thing that I did pick up. You know, that's the same player diving over the ruck, playing with his hands in the ruck, okay, dropping the scrum, give a forward pass, okay, then he wants to tell the referee how to ref the game. Now, you extremely busy with juniors, and I've also seen some juniors, if a scrum goes down, first thing the loose forward does is he turn to the assistant referee and say, what now? What now? Is that starting to become a problem?
Yeah, I think especially these days, because there's a lot on the spell, but it's wasting time. And I think in certain situations, does the player know the rule?
That's a good question.
It's something, if we all play the game or we played the game, but I don't think everybody knows all the rules. And that's where you should just rather keep quiet and just move on.
Are we watching too much soccer?
Yeah, well, you can say that, but I think it's also a discipline factor as well. I think if you and your captain, if you had your team under control, you'd see much less of that. But we are seeing too much of that.
Okay, that was a point he did. Okay, then he also mentioned that referees should talk less and stop coaching. Now I think we've already spoke about this. You know, if a referee comes and says, Deon, you get onside, it actually means Deon is offside. Why don't you just give me the penalty? Why coaching him to get onside? Or don't take your hands off the ball. So that means there's obstruction, isn't it? So I absolutely agree with this point. I just feel referees absolutely talking too much and coaching too much. Why must the ref come and show a backline go back? Why must he do that? Okay, now, and I can tell you this, while at Supersport on Boots and All one night, we had Andre Watson and he said, yeah, but you know, if we don't help, and that's the word he used, help, and I accepted that because it's a nice word, you're going to see 100 penalties in a game. Okay, then I'm going to take you back to the first point, and you mentioned it. Do the players know the laws?
Yeah, it's interesting, but I think in certain ways you're not gonna maybe get that fluency. But once again, if I blow you immediately, you're not gonna do it again anyway. So I think we spoke about it with the All Blacks Springboks game in
That's correct.
at Eden Park, where the ref was coaching too much, and that's not the ref's responsibility.
No.
So I agree. Rather play or blow the penalty, and the teams are going to do less of that because now they're taking chances. Now they're waiting for the ref to say something. And that's how some teams manipulate the refs because they know if a certain guy blows, you can get away with this, or he is going to maybe assist you and help coaching you. So I totally agree with you. Even if there is 30 penalties, play the rule because that is the rule.
Yeah.
And like you said, why do I have to say hands off if you know that's the rule?
Okay. Actually, that's quite clever. I can see you've been a flyer your whole life. Okay. The next point he mentioned, are the coaches actually coach in a certain way to manipulate the referee because they know how he handles the game. Do you think that's a little bit of a statement that coaches might look at and say, no, not really, we don't coach like that? Or I had this whole feeling about Australia for many years. The only way they could handle the South African scrum is they took it up. They dropped it. On a number of occasions, you've seen all the games. So I always felt that's not part of the law. You're not allowed to do that. But they did get away with it. Now, lately, you can't really get away with it. But do you think some coaches might look at analyzing referees? We know that Russell loves to analyzing referees. I'm not saying he coach to manipulate the referee, but I think you can coach to get the advantage.
I think especially at international and professional level, you are planning around the ref these days.
Yeah.
That's why you want to know by Monday already who's blowing your game. Because we can say what we want. All refs, they don't blow the sun.
No.
Certain guy allows maybe a little bit more advantage. This guy, has got no leverage. He gives a penalty immediately. So definitely you coach and you work according to who's going to blow on the weekend. Because we all know it plays a massive role.
Yeah, it does. And we've seen at school level, you just handle whatever comes on the day because, one guy is strong in scrum level. The other guy is brilliant in lineouts. The other guy is brilliant in rucks. You hardly find a ref that is brilliant in every aspect of the game.
No, for sure. But yeah, totally agree. Coaches definitely works around which ref is playing on the weekend.
Okay, and then of course, discipline, you mentioned it. That was a nice way. You did mention discipline from players and referees. Okay, and then the last point he said, can't we just go back to where the ref actually makes the decisions instead of calling everybody and then look at the big screen, wasting time, and then make a decision that we that actually sit and watch the game made the decision like 4 minutes ago.
There are certain decisions I don't understand how two linesmen with a ref and the AR can struggle to make a decision.
Yeah.
And if you take yesterday, for example, the Sharks game with those 2 yellow cards, a tip tackle is an immediate yellow.
Yeah.
So then I understand that the AR can go and decide whether it's going to be upgraded to a red card. But certain things, just make the decision and move on because we're wasting time. And I think the ref should have more say and not ask all the questions and get the TV involved, except on tries. I think that's where you can get a lot of assistance, especially if it's like on the corner flags or whatever, or if the ball's not in touch. And I think you actually showed me a photo earlier today of you guys playing the British Lions, where the try was scored, but the ref wasn't in the right position to award the try and he lost the game.
Yeah, we did. And I'm not going to mention who was the ref, okay? But tongue in cheek, he knows. But I've got the evidence. I actually sent him the evidence this morning. I actually found it, because it was ruled not a try, but it was definitely a try. Okay.
Well, sorry, Naas. We had the same thing on Friday in our final, where at least the judges made the call and said it was a try, but on the photo you couldn't see it's a pure try. It wasn't out, but that could have easily have been a 5-meter line up because you didn't have the AMR involved. And that's the other thing as well. I don't understand how your SA and SA under 19 and 21 Cup finals isn't on Supersport. Why wouldn't they show the finals of the young talent that's coming through? So that was quite disappointing. But yeah, like we say, that could have been a decision that could have cost you the game, but you didn't have the assistance.
See, I was a big supporter when they said there's going to be a TMO. I was a great supporter for technology. Why? Because I want a fair game. If you score a try and nobody can actually say it is a try, but through a TMO you can prove it's a try. That's a fair game. Otherwise, I think if you take the TMO away, especially by tries, we've seen it sometimes, something collapse on the goal line, then nobody, the assistant referees or referee can't see the ball, then you can't get the try. But where the TMO then can prove, okay, the ball was on the ground, that's a try. That's why I love technology. But I think we're going a little bit too far now because it foul play, absolutely. That's one thing. If we find somebody not playing according to the law, that should come out immediately and then assist with tries. But you don't want him actually running the game. Otherwise, take the ref away. It's like in tennis. What did they do lately? Start taking linesmen away. Okay. And, it's technology making calls. Nobody's really complaining because you can just show the ball is in or it's out. Where rugby, I think it's a little bit more complicated. It's not that easy. But, if you can find technology that can solve a scrum going down, I think that would be really the master. And then a guy years ago, and we're going to finish with this, years ago, actually sent me how he can determine if you kick to touch where the ball actually crossed the line. I did give it to somebody at Supersport, but they didn't go with the technology because sometimes, and you can see players, okay, they kick a ball, you can see really it's a long kick, and then it's like the touch is like 10, 15 meters short. Now that in a vital game can be detrimental to the attacking side, where instead of being on, say, on the 5 meter, you're like now 15 meters from the goal line. So I would have loved that technology too. If somebody works out there and can do that, let's get that because I think that will help. But overall, technology must play a part. Then the other thing is, Deon and myself, I've been, 3 years at Supersport. It's a long time in my playing career. We're not going to have Mount Rushmore telling this one is better than that one, but we're going to start going through positions and just talk about players that really impressed us throughout the years. We've been watching as far as we can every single game. So I think we should actually have quite a nice mix and match from around the world because I think there's a lot of people that the youngsters wouldn't even know of that we can talk about. Because, as I mentioned on a number of occasions in my career, I was extremely fortunate to be surrounded by unbelievable rugby players, locally and internationally. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Anything before we go?
No, just once again, I think coming back to our under 19 campaign, on that day, you don't actually take everything in. And I think it actually means much more a couple of days later on. But hats off to the coaching staff there at the Bulls. I think Wessel du Plessis doing an absolutely great job. I think he's a mastermind in the game. And I think we'll see him in the near future coaching a big team or a senior team because I think
Okay, you can see him growing up.
definitely I think that's where he's going, and especially in that final, don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
But he tactically outsmarted them, and that was very nice to see. So yeah, hats off to them, and hopefully next year we can have a strong season at the Bulls again.
Okay. Absolute fantastic. Thanks, Dion. Thank you all. If you have any nice remarks, you can post it. If you don't have nice remarks, give it to your wife.